Today we're going to do an easy little water bath recipe, and this is something I've never put on my shelf before because it's not something I eat. It's something David loves though. We always seem to be out of it because he never bothers to tell me when we're down to the last bottle, and then when I go to buy it, it's like $6 a bottle. So it's hard to stock up at $6 a bottle. Anyway, welcome. This is Grow and Preserve. I'm Carter. I'm glad you're here today. Let's get started on this one. All right, what are we doing today? Steak sauce. Used to be A1, now I buy this one, I guess because it's more expensive, I don't know. Anyway, it is pricey, and we're gonna put some of this on the shelf today. So I've been trying a lot of different recipes, trying to find something that is both yummy and something that I can can. So I have come across one. It was not intended for canning. I am canning it. I have no problem with any of the ingredients in it for canning. I did do a pH test, and the pH came in at 3. So to me, we are totally safe for water bath canning, which is what I'm going to do. It'll be a 15-minute water bath can, and it is delicious. So let me bring you down here, and I'll show you the one I made. Okay, so here we go. I don't know if you can really see that. That is some beautifully thick steak sauce. It's gorgeous. You can see all the little bits of the seasonings in there. And it didn't take much time at all to make. So today, after I eat this, so good. I like it so much better than that one. So I don't know, this is supposed to be the thing, but this thing is much better. All right, let's get working on it today. A couple of surprising ingredients in here. Okay, so let's talk about this recipe I'm using. I'm gonna post it below. It is from Southern Kitchen. And it is not a canning recipe. So they say it makes 1 cup, but you put in 3, 5, I don't know, 7 cups of stuff to get 1 cup. So I don't know. There is reduction involved for sure, and mine did reduce. I made a quarter of the recipe last night, and I got almost a half pint. So I'm going to double this recipe and hope for somewhere in the 6 to 8 half pints. So just know that if you go look at this one, I'm going to double this recipe. All right, so we're going to start with the raisins because I'm going to do something just slightly differently. Something I saw in another recipe that I think makes eminently more sense. So I'm going to need 1.5 cups of raisins if I'm doubling. So put that in there. That was 1 cup. All right, and another half cup. Now let's take some of our liquid. I'm going to take the water. So 1 cup of water. I'm going to use 2 cups of water. So this is all the water that goes in the recipe. And I'm going to blend this up. You end up straining this at the end. But I wanted to get a little more of the raisin flavor in it. So I'm going to put this on the blender. Come back and we'll start from there. All right, now we can get all of these ingredients in. This is our not very pretty looking slurry of raisins. I'm going to pour this in. And then, let's get back over here. It says 1 cup of Worcestershire sauce, so I'm using 2. Hope I have enough. So I had everything I needed in the house already for this recipe, except the orange juice and sufficient garlic. I had some, but not enough. So you'll see it uses a lot of garlic. Balsamic vinegar. Let's do 2 cups of this. Okay, these bottles are getting me today. All right, I got this one off. So we're gonna put in 2 cups. I'm gonna have to run downstairs. All right, 2 cups. And then our raisins are in here, 1/2 cup of ketchup. So let's make that 1 cup of ketchup. So I'm just using organic ketchup. There's nothing crazy in this, no fillers or anything. Let's see, all right, 1 cup of ketchup. 1 cup of Dijon mustard. So you'll see I'm going to use up my stash of store-bought mustard on this one. If you have homemade Dijon, that would be excellent. The only homemade mustard I have right now is the seedy, the grainy one that we made together. And we're going to strain this so the mustard seeds would be lost. All right, 1 cup of Dijon mustard. And we're going to do 1 cup of orange juice. That one surprised me. So far my surprises have been the raisins, which, you know, if you think about it, probably shouldn't have surprised me, but it did. And now the orange juice, and then there's one more coming up that really surprised me. All right, 1 cup of orange juice. All right, so the garlic, we're going to strain out the garlic. The recipe calls for 1/2 cup of peeled garlic cloves. So I should use 1 cup of peeled garlic cloves. I'm using a little under that. It's kind of garlic forward, and I think that it is just fine. It does mellow, but I'm going to use maybe 3/4 of a cup of peeled and smashed garlic. So when you taste it before we jar it up, it'll be intensely garlicky, but it does mellow. I mean, even just a couple of nights, it melted. So I'm not too worried about it anymore, but we do get rid of it, and I think this is plenty. Okay, now the other thing that surprised me, celery seed. And you can see I'm almost out of celery seed. So the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of celery seed. Honestly, I don't think I have enough to do 2 teaspoons of celery seed. We're going to do what we have. All right, 1. Oh, I did have 2 teaspoons, okay. All right, 2 teaspoons of celery seed. And then a little salt and pepper. And that's it. We're going to put this on the stove and let it go for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. I'm going to start with 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. But we're going to keep a good eye on this, and we're going to whisk it around every now and then. We don't want it to burn. So let's get this on the stove. We're going to start it on medium, and I'm just going to keep whisking it around. Make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. I don't want anything to burn. There's a lot of sugar in here with the raisins and the ketchup and the balsamic. So let's keep a very close eye on it. And then we'll come back, taste it, and jar it up. Okay, so this has been on a gentle boil for about 25 minutes now. And it's reduced by about 1/3. You can probably see that. The directions say to cook it until it coats the back of a spoon. Yeah. But we don't really want to do it all the way anyway, because remember, it's going to continue cooking in the canner. So it has reduced enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and I'll meet you back over at the counter, and we'll get this strained and then into some jars. All right, let's see if I can pour this in here without making a total mess. See if I can get this worked through. It smells delicious. So remember now, we're straining out the raisin bits. Not that it would be bad if they got in there. Raisins are totally safe to can. In fact, they're very low in pH. We're straining out the garlic. Again, not because you can't can that in a highly acidic sauce like this one, but because we don't want a hunk of garlic falling out on our steak out of the jar. So we're making this just to, you know, have for tonight's dinner or something. I'd be tempted to put a lot of the raisin puree back in there, but since we're going to put it on the shelf, I don't want it to separate. And I think that it might separate on the shelf and not be as appetizing when it comes out. Let's get some more in here. It's a beautiful color on this sauce. Oops, I don't want it to run over. Let's give this one more taste test. It's really good. All right, let's keep straining. I'm going to keep pushing this through and really squish down on the raisins and the garlic when we get to the end. Make sure I get all the flavor out of them that I can. I don't need any more salt or pepper. If you want a little more bite to it, you could add some more pepper. But I think that once it cans, I'm making a mess now. All right. All right, my jars are hot. My sauce is super hot. I'm going to use the Presto Electric as a water bath canner for this one. So, looks like I have almost 8 cups. So, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch headspace. So, I'll probably end up with 8 pints, maybe just a smidge more. It's a little full. We're going to process these for 20 minutes. I may have said 15 minutes before, but it is 20 minutes that we're going to process these in a water bath canner. See if I have enough to make a 4 ounce. Yep, sure do. wipe all these rims with vinegar. Make sure there's nothing to prevent a seal. Lids and rings on. If you don't have your lids yet this year, make sure you get them. Garden season is coming. If you want to use my 4 jars link down below, it'll get you 10% off, and the channel would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's get these on. I think this is going to be so great to have on the shelf. Now what I'm looking for, maybe y'all can help me, point me in the right direction. I'm not a huge steak sauce fan, although I like this one a lot. Heinz 57 is my thing, and I don't buy that anymore because of the high fructose corn syrup. But I don't know how to eat meatloaf without Heinz 57. So I need some help from you guys. See if you can find me a recipe that I can. I have tried, gosh, maybe 4 different recipes, and I didn't like any of them. Some of them tasted like mustard, some of them tasted like ketchup, some of them tasted like tomato paste. I don't know. I didn't like any of them. So, if you've got something out there, let me know, please. I'd love to get some of that on the shelf. I love meatloaf, but without Heinz 57, it's just not the same for me. All right, I'll get these in the canner, and we'll check on them when they're done. All right, steak sauce is done. Looks absolutely beautiful. You can see that on camera. It's a deep, rich brown color. Looks just like steak sauce. Isn't that good? Tastes like steak sauce too. That's even better. Thanks so much for being here. I'm so glad to see you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. So I've been trying a lot of different recipes, trying to find one that is yummy and cannibal. That sounds funny.